Hey guys, welcome back to another Helix video. Today I wanted to go over how I set up a patch with Helix and Variax to where I'm going to be using a lot of the snapshots to be able to control the tuning on the Variax, going from electric to acoustic, things like that. Had some folks request this type of video, so I wanted to oblige that. We're going to flip over to the computer, but just a quick note, this preset will be up on Custom Tone for free. The link to this patch will be in the description below. So let's flip over to the computer. I'm going to show you on the editor what I have going on and how I set these patches up. Okay guys, so before we get into the actual Variax setup with the snapshots, I wanted to just talk very briefly about the components in this preset. It's a fairly basic preset. I basically have an amp model. I'm using the litigator, dual cab block. I've got a compressor and reverb, all pretty standard stuff. I do have this kinky boost on. I just like having this on. Low gain just kind of adds a preamp, extra preamp stage. It's just a personal preference. Now, the interesting parts, I have a parametric EQ. This is going to be used when we do acoustic sounds for the Variax. I've tuned this in to kind of accentuate the tones. I think it helps make a nicer sound, a more rounded sound for the Variax acoustic. So the other thing that I put in here that is snapshot specific, I have a Timmy and the Heir Apparent. These are both drive pedals. The reason I have two drive pedals is this one I have the snapshot bypass checked. The Timmy I have it unchecked. What that means is this. So the Timmy, because that's unchecked, is basically going to be unaffected by snapshot changes. Completely unaffected. Snapshots cannot turn it on or off. The opposite is true of the Heir Apparent. Now, here's why I like to do that. Let's say I'm playing a clean section, and then for a rhythm part on the fly, I might want to switch to an open E, or vice versa. Let's say I'm playing in a clean open E rhythm, and I want to switch back to my standard tuning, but I've got a drive pedal on. I don't want to lose that drive pedal when I change the snapshot. That might be a clean snapshot. And then I don't want to waste another snapshot that's lead just in case. I think you understand what I'm saying. I want it to be where the drive pedal is either on or off, and the snapshots don't affect it. This to me adds a layer of versatility live, where I don't have to pre-think every little detail. I can have some flexibility and treat it more like a pedal board. The Heir Apparent is set up the opposite. They are both assigned to stomp switches, but let's say I have a clean and then a lead snapshot, unrelated to any other alt tuning or anything like that, just a clean and lead. I can have snapshot control over the bypass state of the Heir Apparent. So I can be anywhere on any snapshot in any settings, and when I go to, say, a lead snapshot, it will turn this on. So I put both in here to kind of show you the best of both worlds, kind of how that works. Okay, so now let's get into the snapshot control for the Variax. So anything you want to control via snapshots, right click and just select snapshots. Now I went ahead and selected everything we're going to need, so you don't have to watch me click through everything and assign it to snapshots, but here's what we're controlling. The Variax model, the different string tunings, and then new in firmware 2.8 and up is the ability to control the string level through Helix and by extension through snapshots. So I have all that set to snapshot control. So let's just start building out a few snapshots and some real world examples of how I might do this. So I'm going to I like to keep snapshot 1 as home base. So I'm just going to call it clean, and it's going to be, my fail safe. I can click this and go back to kind of standard tuning, clean, right back to the beginning. So now let's say I'm going to need the guitar to be capoed up a fret. So I'm going to just go +1 across the board. I can rename this, call it capo 1, and save it. No big deal there. Let's say some song I might need to do a capo on the 2nd fret, 2 steps up, or 2 half steps up. Well, let me get the right naming here. All right, so all I'm going to do is change that to +2 across the board. And so there's that. So now we have 3 snapshots. We have a standard tuning, capo 1, capo 2. Let's say we're going to need to go down a half step. So an E flat tuning, just -1 across the board. So this is very simple. You just have to decide what you're going to need. beforehand, and it's just as simple as defining these different string pitches and saving it. So there, snapshots 1 through 4 we have covered. We have some capoed and a half step down. So now let's say we want to go to an acoustic sound. So what I want to do is I'm going to turn off the Kiki Boost, the amp and cab block. I'm going to turn on the parametric EQ there. Also, I need to come over here and tell the Variax that we're going to start doing acoustic. I guess I did this when I created the patch, but basically all you have to do is scroll down, find what you want to control, or send it to rather. Acoustic 5 is the one I wanted. I'm going to rename this acoustic. And there we have it. All right, so just to let you hear what that's going to sound like. Clean. Now acoustic. Yeah, so it's great. You can go, if you're doing a song that requires an acoustic intro into an electric guitar sound, or the other way around. I can recall playing the Who's Who Are You, and there's an acoustic solo in the middle. No problem. Click, snapshot to acoustic, play it, go back to the driven electric. So it's pretty nice to be able to flip back and forth. You don't have to change guitars or anything that you can't. You don't have to put an acoustic on a stand and walk up and do all that business. It's really straightforward and simple. So let's say we're going to need an acoustic sound, but we're going to do, let's say open G instead of just standard tuning. So I'm going to copy and paste this just a little bit faster than turning on and off everything. So I'm going to rename this acoustic open G. And then come over here to the tuning. Now, one of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to change this to a G and that to a D. I'm not even going to bother changing the 6th string. I'm going to actually turn it off, because in a lot of open G, Keith Richards is a good example of this. They'll actually take off the bottom string to keep from having to mute it. You can make it a D and it'll be in the tuning, but it's nice to have that 5th string just be the G, so your lowest string is a G. So nothing on that string. There you have the E. Yeah, so there's that one. So you can say you're still wanting to stay on acoustic, but the rhythm is in an open G. But you want to play lead over it at some point. You can just flip over to the acoustic. This is just as simple as flipping back and forth between the two snapshots. Super versatile. And I just used open G as an example. I mean, you can use really any tuning you want. Open E, open D, open A, dadgad. It's just as simple as setting the sliders up to do what you want to do. If you're not that familiar with open tunings, just Google them. You can see what the different tunings are. So it's nice too as well here, because not only does it tell you, +1, -2, whatever, how many, half steps you're going. It does tell you the note as well, which is a good reference point. So that's pretty cool. So let's say that, because I did have to do this live, I had an open G acoustic for an intro to a song. And then at some point of the song, I needed to go to just a lead sound and standard tuning. So I was going from acoustic to standard tuned electric with distorted. Then towards the end of the song, I went back to an open G rhythm sound, but I wanted to stay with the distorted electric. Then the outro went back to an open G and acoustic. So let's set that up real quick. I'm going to go to snapshot number 7. This is going to be electric open G. And yeah, this drive block, we're going to make sure it's on. We want a distorted rhythm sound. Coming over to the Variax, I'm going to do the same thing. Drop that to a G, drop the high string to a D, and then just turn that level all the way down. So now we have this. And we could just as easily go back to the acoustic. Now, I did say we needed a lead guitar sound, so let's do that as well. I'm going to come to the 8th snapshot. I'm going to rename this lead guitar, or just lead rather. And it's going to be standard tuning. We want the drive on, and that's pretty much all we have to do. If you want to, you know, I have this amp model turned up already almost to the top, but just for the sake of doing this, I'm going to have it set to go up all the way to 10, so there's a little bit of a volume boost there. So we go back to the other snapshot, it's 9.5. When we come up here, it's 10. So we're playing open G rhythm. So there we went from acoustic open G to electric open G to just a lead guitar sound and right back. So that's pretty much how I set this up. I just look at the set list, I see what I'm going to need, so I'll order my snapshots to where I can try to just step through. You have 8 snapshots per preset. If I need more snapshots, I'll just make a copy of my preset. So I can change, if I need to, I'll change to a different preset with different snapshots set up. But depending on what you may be doing, 8 may be plenty. A lot of times for my shows they are, but that's pretty much, that's how I do it. It's not very complicated. It just takes a little bit of forethought as to what you're going to need and setting that up ahead of time. But as you can see, the nuts and bolts of setting this up isn't very complicated at all. So if you do have questions, please leave them in the comments below. Again, the link for this patch is going to be in the description. That'll be free on Custom Tone. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when I have new stuff coming out. You know the drill with that social media stuff. I appreciate everyone that watches and shares and likes and comments. So thanks for checking this out. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it, and we'll see you next time.